Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Last Will. If you've watched the other videos, you'll have an idea of the rules of Last Will. I've set the game up to play for 3 players. Red, green, and blue. I have selected the starting cards, and I'm going to leave their hand of cards open. So any cards that are on the table in this location for each player, they should be closed off information, so held in hand where the other players can't see them. But it's just really hard to hold a camera and cards at the same time, so we'll work with it this way, and I'll try and forget what each other player has when I'm looking at things. So we start with Red as the first player. His first job is to select which of the spots up the top he wishes to take. So if he wants to go earlier in the turn order, or if he wants to get more actions, or if he wants to get more errand boys so he can do more things. Now, having a look at what he has, first up in his hand, he really needs to get this guy down because that will cost him 1 monies per round. And as we know, the whole idea of the game is to spend monies and get rid of all of this monies. Everyone started with £70, by the way, which is the recommended for the first game. So I'm going to need at least 1 action to get that down. If I want to get that down, I'll need a second action. However, this is a mansion, and at the moment, the real estate market is set with the mansions at -3. I really want this card here onto the mansion spot for me to be able to action that and spend as much money as possible to get my mansion down. So I may not want to do that this turn unless I can get an errand boy there to change the value of real estate. Now, over on the main board, I notice there's this card here, the old friend. He will give an extra action every turn while he's on the board. So it'd be worthwhile trying to get that before other players do. That will be one of the hottest cards that people are trying to get. Other cards that would be worthwhile having in hand. The other cards that would be worthwhile having in hand are the reservation, because that will cost me 2 monies per round. So that's a really valuable card. This mansion card looks like it's going to be able to devalue really well, but once again, we've got the same problem with the real estate market and mansions. This townhouse will lose more money and cost more money, so it might actually be more valuable to get that guy. And fortunately, townhouses are on the +3s. So that's where the value is in terms of the property market at the moment. And there's this guy here. He will allow an extra action for the playing of one of the white cards, these ones. So there may be some value in having him on board as well. So it looks like there's some good cards to take. He wants the actions to be able to do stuff, however, so he's going to grab this spot, which will get him 2 cards. And the 2 cards he's going to take are... What's he going to take? What'll he take? What'll he take? What'll he take? He thinks he'll take another one of these. So that's a waiter, which will give him +1 if he has a restaurant card down, which he won't for the moment. And look, he'll grab one of these just to see what happens. So that's a theatre card, which will cost him money for actions, and if he has a horse, he can spend more monies. Okay, the next player, Green. Green has in hand at the moment a real estate agent, which will allow him to spend 2 more monies if it's on the board in order to buy property, and he's got a townhouse, which will cost him 13 monies. It won't devalue much, but he'll be able to spend actions to lose money each turn. And the townhouses are actually in a really good position on the real estate market at the moment, so it's probably worth his while trying to get that townhouse played. So he's going to need at least 2 actions to get them down. Because he's going for property, he might actually take this one here. He can see that he's got cards that he can play, so he's not going to get to take any extra cards, but he'll have 3 actions this turn, as well as having the 2 errand boys. And then Blue has currently in hand a reservation, so he needs to get that down early because that's just going to cost him a passive 2 monies every round, and he really needs to get this guy down as well. So he's going to need at least the 2 actions to get those guys down also. And look, he might actually jump to the back of the line. So he's going to get 3 actions. He'll take 2 cards now, and then he'll also have 2 errand boys. So the 2 cards he's going to take, he might grab one of these, which is a dinner reservation. And he'll grab one of these. So that's a training ground for if he's got some properties. Okay, now that everyone has placed, we now go in player order from up here. So red player goes first. He'll have 2 errand boys. So he's going to place his first errand boy here, which will enable him to grab this card into his hand. A really valuable card. The green player is next, and he's going to have 3 actions. So he's going to try and get a second property down. So he'll take that one. Blue gets the next errand boy, and blue likes the look of passive income, so he's going to grab that reservation. Red has a second errand boy to send out. He thinks there might be some value in grabbing this guy for the moment because they'll get him an extra event to play, so an outing to play, I guess, without any actions attached to it. Green will go next, and green is going to take the opportunity to grab an extra space. He doesn't need it yet, but what that does, he puts that on the end of his board. He has more space to be able to do stuff, because what's going to happen is these spaces are going to fill up really, really quickly. And then blue grabs the last one, and blue is going to... Look, blue's just going to go for some passive spending money, so he's going to go to the opera, which costs him 2 money, and he's on his way. Okay, now staying in that same player order, we do our actions. So red has 2 actions, so we set this marker to the 2. His 2 actions are going to be, first action to play this guy onto his board. This guy allows him to get 1 extra action. His second action will be to play this guy onto his board. That will cost him 1 monies. So you put that money back. And his third action will be to get this guy onto his board. And he's going to be able to action a white card without having to lose any action points. So he doesn't have any left anyway. So he'll do that, which will allow him to play this card, the theatre card, for 1 action, and that will cost him 2 monies. So that goes to the discard pile. He spends his 2 monies going to the theatre. And we move over to the green's turn. Green has 3 actions. So we set the grey down to the 3. His first action will be to get the real estate agent onto his board. So that's 1. The real estate will now enable him to purchase some real estate for 2 extra monies. So his second action is going to be to purchase this townhouse. So the townhouse should cost him 17. The plus 2 monies will make it 19. And townhouses are the orange ones, which means it's plus another 3. So that actually puts it to 22 monies to build that townhouse, and he's now used that. So he'll throw in a 50 and take change. 22, so he takes 28 change. So that was his second action he's just used. Now he could build this for another 3 monies, but he knows he's got this real estate agent, which will enable him to actually spend another 2 on that to actually action it. So he might as well action it, this one, this turn, for the 3 monies. So he'll spend another 3 monies on that. Now when you build, I did jump that a little bit out of order. When you build, you place one of these tokens next to the highest value to show that's the value of that townhouse until he manages to devalue it somehow. Next up is blue. Blue has 3 actions also. So blue sets his marker to 3 actions. Blue really needs to get these 2 onto the board. So he'll use 2 of his actions to get them on. So that's 1 action, and that's a second action. And he'll use this one now, the reservation, to spend 2 monies. Oops, 2 monies back up to the bank. He has 1 more action. So he might use it to actually get this second reservation onto the table, and that will cost him a second pair of 2 monies. Okay, now we reset. So no one has any Properties that didn't get used, that's when they would get devalued. So all those cards come back up to the top. Any cards left up here go to their discard piles. All errand boys come back. The markers come back as well. First player marker gets passed to the next player along, and then we restock this top board. So we're on the second turn at the moment. Second turn, that comes down to show we're on second turn. This is still second turn, so all three of them get bonus cards. That one's always going to get a friend card. This one still on the friend cards. These two still on the property cards. Okay, everyone then discards down to 2 cards, except the chum allows this player to hang on to a 3rd or 4th card, so he's actually got 3 cards now going. And we're good to go. So I think that I might leave it there. I've spoken for far too long and played for far too long. I'm going to try and edit this down to half the length of what this video actually is. I hope this gives you a better idea of how to play Last Will. I hope this helps you get Last Will to the table. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you've got any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.